Hello everyone, my name is Wade the Wallaby, and welcome back to another live stream. This we'll be talking about my life in internet, or I should say computer wise. Some of them will be actually some of the parts that were major that really affected some things. This first started off on January the 15th, 2001. I was born. So basically, what happened? All right, so we're going to actually skip a lot of the timeline. Most of it is missing in action, or I don't know, but here's the stuff that I do know. I started playing computers really early on. I'm just going to say maybe 03 or 4. I don't know. I don't have that information right now. But my first concern was the first ever games that I played. Well, I should say, not multiplayer wise. We'll get to that later. First of all, the first games that I know that I played was Lego Star Wars. It was the original one, I should say. Now, there was a sequel to that, and they actually have old maps, but I haven't played it since, a long time. It was also another time that I sort of had multiplayer, but it was impossible. I also had another game that I don't know what the game was, but I remember I watched some YouTube videos of that game, and it seemed familiar. All I know is it is based off in San Francisco and has something 2 on it. If you have any other suggestions of what that game was, please let me know in the comment section. Now, obviously, it started off of these few games I played. Lego Star Wars, Lego Indiana Jones was very later on, and the rest of them were later on. They were not multiplayer that I know of. However, the first ever actual multiplayer game that I had, which I have talked about, Jumpstart. And of course, the other sequel to it, Math Space Station, I think it's called. If you don't know what it is, it's been a long time since I played it because I stopped playing it because all the updates were making me confused and my autism was very, advocating about it. So that's why I stopped playing it. But really, actually was the original, that I know of. Now, here are the simulators. Train Simulator, because of the old type style computers we had. Train Simulator, which was pretty old. Now, there was a trailer for a new Train Simulator my dad showed me. Now, this was the time when YouTube was starting to come out in 2006. It started off in 2005. However, after about a year later, it was bought after, of course, Google, so it became that. I really actually didn't know. But then, of course, very later on, I did watch early YouTube videos. However, I probably would give you some suggestions, or if I could find them again, I probably would show you a link in the description or in the chat. But I'm too lazy to do that because that's going to be impossible. The second is what I talked about the Lego series. I don't like talking about it, but I had Lego Indiana Jones, Lego Indiana Jones 2, which is very confusing, Lego Batman, Lego Harry Potter. However, it was only on the Wii, I think. A lot of this stuff I can't remember. The Wii, I never played that much. Oh, by the way, I also forgot another game that was in Lego series. Lego, what is that movie called? Pirates of the Caribbean or something like that. And all of those ones that I had. However, later on, obviously in my lifetime, my dad was playing Battlefield 2. Obviously, it's pretty classic. I remember my dad was playing what I believe probably were robots or bots because the enemies were always looking above. I'm not sure if that was a glitch at that time or a bug into the multiplayer server, but obviously I remember my dad told me that to stay not AFK or get kicked, so I had to be his pilot for a while and then he came back. I remember one time we had a own server in multiplayer. Me and my dad were playing against, and he obviously owned me because I was just a little kid. I didn't know much about violence. But it was the first of, I should say, multiplayer. Early on. I don't know what year it was, but however, I would probably call this pre-cancer. When I possibly would understand that, remember, in 2007, my mom was completely incapacitated with cancer. that really actually shut down a lot of things. However, it didn't stop the action of games. The early concepts of me playing games were actually on video, but I can't remember the timeline. After all these years, since 2010, I believe, that's all I know about Jumpstart. I'm not sure where I stopped, but I believe I probably played it maybe about 3 years, estimate, or two. It'd be kind of weird if it was actually 5 years. But I'm just going to say 5 or 3 years I've been playing that. If it's not like months, then that's embarrassing, but it's just an estimate. Jumpstart, you know, was fun. I met a lot of new people, but yeah. I don't know how she found it. Then, of course, was the Lego builder thing, which they actually stopped producing Legos for people in that thing in 2012 or something like that, I think. 2012 was actually the point where I should say, internet wise, I started recording myself and wanted to use them as for YouTube. Little did I know, I didn't know how to create a channel. But this was back in 2011, where basically I probably knew about YouTube videos. So later on to the years, you know, it came to be 2013. 2013 was a big gaming acquirement into my history. I skipped a lot of the history since 2007, but really actually before 2007 was actually me playing Lego Star Wars. So I do know when my mom had problems, it was that time. Actually, I think it was her appendix, but I can't remember really well. Also, that was the point when she stopped working at, Durham, which is basically a bus company that actually don't exist anymore that I know of at that time. So she had to stop working anywhere else. So at this time, she has never had a job. The only job she has is taking care of me. Obviously, me and Dad used to play Call of Duty for a small period of time, but that was actually when I had Garry's Mod. I do know that. Now, at this time, pretty much when I had games and also on the computer, my dad had really good tactics of threatening me and doing grounding stuff, but my parents never ground me. They just punish me my dad just takes the computer and I had I have voice recordings of that time. It was a very depressing moment. And then, of course, you got in 2013, I finally found what the game was called. Garry's Mod. Now, I've seen YouTube videos about it, and I explained to my friend, I have talked about many times. That's how I got Steam. And I still have Garry's Mod. I still play it. It's crazy. You gotta see how many hours I play it on. It's a lot. So yeah, and then you got Minecraft. Here's the kicker. I got Minecraft on the iPad. However, it's not the original app. I accidentally deleted it in 2016 while it was lagging so bad. Little I know, it probably was because my iPad was getting so old, since the iPad was actually my mom got for her birthday on her 50th birthday as a present. Then, of course, Nanny got Dish at her old house by switching from AT&T to Dish, and that led her to get a free iPad. It was crappy. She still has it, but it doesn't work well. However, the iPad that I use, so here's a little kicker that I really want to talk about. iPad game apps. I never talked about on this channel. Actually, ever. So here's a kicker. I've been wanting to talk about this for a long time. So this is going to be interesting or new info. On the iPad, actually, I call it the original iPad. So we had basically two iPads. My mom used hers, and then of course she decided, since of course I have a lot of my games on that iPad, let me tell you some of the games that we got since the years come, and some secrets that, well, not secrets, but a lot of things that happened in that time. First of all, there was this game that basically was kind of ridiculous. It was called, I think, Airship something. We realized that it was fun at first, but when we realized it got so big that my mom thought, it was heavy and was hard to travel. So we had to leave it because it was ridiculous. It was kind of a bit stupid at the end. The second one was obviously this type of thing. I don't know what it was, but it was like it was possibly one of the first games. Of course, you get Angry Birds, which um, acquired for. I played it for a while and then I got bored of it because, then of course the Angry Space, Angry Birds, Angry Birds Season, you got all of those. So I stopped playing those for a while because, I get bored and I started playing Minecraft on the iPad. I remember those seeds. I remember the early stages of Minecraft. That was the original. This is a big stage. When I had the iPad, I got Minecraft on there. And I remember I've been playing it for a while. I had references. I've been building my old school. I had building some references from Swamp People, I think it's called, or whatever those logger people were. Really really early stuff. They didn't have but water buckets. They didn't have no minecarts. So I was waiting all that time for those minecarts. So yeah, I've been building a lot of stuff. And what the weird thing was, I deleted them because I don't know. I had these big builds. I just deleted them. And then of course I got the Xbox 360, which my dad used it for playing his Battlefield 4. At this time, I actually played Minecraft. Only one server, or I should say multiplayer, that I went to. It didn't last long, but it was one of his friends, my dad's friends, that he had on there. So obviously, the Xbox 360, I never talk about that much. The Xbox 360 actually had Minecraft on there. And when I finally got it, they had Minecraft Rails and these other creatures called villagers. Now, later on, they did add them on the iPad. So I mostly played the 360 and I built huge. I remember I built a big, giant zombie. Had a cage of villager inside. I think I deleted it. I don't remember. But then I stopped deleting, maps because they were getting amazing. I had a huge yacht, or I should say, reference to Ships My Extremes, a massive, ships and stuff, huge. And I built a lot of things. But what really was the biggest build that I started to have a progress of was, of course, on Minecraft. Now, obviously, about Call of Duty, my dad played Call of Duty for a small portion of time. He said that even though Call of Duty was, a team deathmatch game, I don't know much about it anymore, but obviously a lot of quick scoping kids, memes all over the place, really sped up. I played Call of Duty. Yes, I have with my dad. Yes, indeed, on a multiplayer server. And I was getting sort of good, but obviously I've been thinking about trying to get the Xbox 360 again, or booting it up and actually playing Minecraft. And obviously, since I've been playing on the computer. Now, obviously, about the computer, I actually started I didn't know how to get Minecraft on the computer. It was kind of complicated. I finally got Minecraft, and obviously you got the Minecraft Villager Labs and Mesa Biome Village and the original one. And then what really happened, 2016 was the worst year in gaming in my history. Because I accidentally deleted, and of course, coincidence such as the computer just exploded. I still have it, but the hard drive, I don't know what happened, but the computer crashed. So it led to be, I told you a lot about this, but it led to be a very dark age of the history book. It was a line of my life that pinned me down, but then I realized that it wasn't the end. A lot of the games that were on Steam that were saved. So basically, when I was working on it, it was low resolution. I remember I was on Gears Mod, and I didn't have no add-ons yet, but it was so old. It looked like I was running on a laptop or something. But then I had that. Then Dad got a new video card, and that really lit up all the res. And I started having high resolution games, starting up high resolution over time. So yeah, it was a good but bad. I can't believe my dad got me a video card because he knew that, it was something that he wanted to do, and I guess wanted to save me something. I have no idea, maybe to torture me more, but hey, it works well. So obviously, okay, the iPad games. I almost forgot. Okay, yeah, the one that with the slides or something was like if you were on the I don't know what it was, but it was a game, and I got bored of it and deleted it. Of course, the airship thing we deleted, and let's see, Tiny Town. For some reason, the company probably bankrupt, so they stopped doing that. And of course, then you have what is it? Um, Block Fortress. Yeah, that I still have that. I didn't delete that, but I still have that, and it's really good. There's no multiplayer people because I guess people got bored of it because I tried to get the ones from I forgot. Then of course is the one of the ones that I really was playing, and it was a challenge. It was called Roller Coaster Crazy or something. I forgot what it was, but it was about roller coasters. And you start off in Australia, then you work your way in United States, and of course you got the White House. And I've been playing that because it was really hard to get the people at a perfect roller coaster. And then all of a sudden, I was booting up when I was going to school. It restarted all of it. The entire game restarted. So I'm like, what the hell? Well, I guess I'm gonna have to leave because I'm not gonna do all of that. It took years for me to get to I think it was in Brazil or something, but I don't know. Canada, I don't remember. But I'm like, what? Why? After all of that work, and including it was really hard, really hard. So I stopped playing it. Let's see. So other games I got on there, I actually deleted some Angry Birds because I didn't want to play anymore. Angry Birds, Star Wars, yeah, whatever. Because they were just adding storage. Let's see. What is the biggest? No, wait. So obviously it was pretty interesting. However, here is some other ones that basically started another, I should say, hobby. First of all, it was ships. Then it was pigs. Yeah, there was. I don't know why I like pigs and Minecraft pigs. I should say, pronouncing Minecraft pigs. And I started making this thing in Minecraft Pocket Edition called Minecraft Pig Games. And basically, I even had players that even joined there, friends that had multiplayer. It was interesting. I built a lot of stuff in there. It was kind of interesting. Some obstacles, parkour, roller coaster, all this stuff. Then, of course, the biggest builds I got was pretty much my famous one, Minecraft GM Race. And this was a big map that I had upgrading. And because I had the original, it's just a, square classic thing that, was a barrier, I decided to make a extended version on a different map. And my friend Aiden helped me with building the process by building a background for it. It was really kind of interesting thing. Basically with a bridge. Now, this is the time where I had another type of hobby. Remember that time when I talked about pig games and stuff? Well, after later on, I started because I liked Minecraft. I have talked about this, but I don't usually talk about that much. What really got me interested was actually Minecraft Dragons, and obviously I, got to Minecraft Dragons, and then of course you got to click. But then all of that bunch of mess was this one type green kangaroo. And that really actually started with the Wallaby stuff. And I'm like, what? I don't know how, because I was young back then in 2015 or whatever, where I found it. Later, I know that this was another fandom thing called, furries, basically. This was actually, I didn't know that word was actually a thing. But this was the time when I didn't actually explore the internet that much. I was usually playing with the Minecraft, I should say, stuff, and it was really interesting. So yeah, it was actually pig games. It was a small portion of dragons, and then you got this green kangaroo called Kangaroo, and I was obsessed with it so bad. I kind of feel stupid. So basically, I found him on which is called a program called Fur Affinity, and then of course later on in 2016 I signed up, and then of course you got this long, and then of course after that portion, I don't know what happened, but after like a lot of years, even some of my friends got tired of me saying his name and kangaroos and mentioning it. Us, all of a sudden, I was interested in lycanthropes or werewolves, and this is the time now. Werewolves. I should say in 2016, and then of course, yeah, a lot of stuff. It seemed like things go by really fast, but that was a long time ago. iPad games, let me see. That's all I need to tell you about was actually the one with the roller coaster one. I really want to talk about that one. Let's see. So let me end this out with 2016, and then of course this was the depression year. Then it gets worse. After me finishing off with a big playlist that I had on my channel, it was called History of YouTube from 2005 to 2018. Now I was going to edit it back in the future. I think I did it. No, I didn't. But I was like, okay, I'm going to edit that, because it was the new year, was 2019, of course, January 1st, January 2nd, and January 3rd, obviously, doing, stuff, I think no, I didn't. So I reached 126 subscribers after 2015. So I started YouTube in 2015, and it was interesting. Now, later I knew was a lot of obstacles that I had to come. Copyright, other stuff, violence, and all that stuff. But obviously, I was really interested and very nice. Now, it was that time when I started getting not very nice 2 pills. So obviously, the pills actually helped me focus. So at that time, I didn't have those. So I started making mean comments and stuff. Little did I know that that was a very dangerous, wrong idea. So,
who are you talking to?
so over the years, I was really interested. Little did I know about January 5th was the end of a career that really actually shut down of my entire life. It was the YouTube termination. After 126 subscribers, vanished without warning. Well, not vanished, but I couldn't access it. After all that work, Minecraft Wade was the earliest games. Vanished. Well, they didn't vanish. They just are. Well, I don't know what's going on, but after all that career ended, me getting terminated. And I call this the termination event, which is still going on right now. So I had to make a new channel with a new email and stuff. Then it became the Dark Age. That Dark Age will actually end until I get that channel back, no matter what happens. I don't care if I die for a living. That channel will come back, and I will have those videos back. And I really want those videos back. And those playlists that I had. And this is today. I got a lot of games on Steam, and let me see if I can go back. Now, obviously, with live statistics, I won't be talking about that, but I probably will be in a separate stream, maybe, talking about instead of games, it will be life and what happened and how did I became like this. Actually, I'll tell you right now, why did I became like this was because of a flow of autism. This was basically a long thing that was going on. What would happen if I didn't look up dragons and if I just kept on going? And if I heard these furries, I probably wouldn't be interested in foxes, wolves, coyotes, and all of these creatures that I probably wouldn't even care. I'll still probably wouldn't even know how to spell them right, or werewolves, because I used to spell them as warehouse, like where WA instead of instead of W-A-R-E, it's W-E-R-E. So I always typed in where. Yeah. So yeah. Then that's how I got to know about the moon so much. And that solar eclipse happened in 2017. Wow, that was amazing. I remember the entire school was up alert. There was even some videos that they even posted. Um, yeah, just search it up in Bevel West. You should be able to see it. It's there. Just trust me. There are a lot of videos there about that because I remember I looked at some videos that were posted and, I'm like, wow, amazed of what's going on. And obviously about Twitter, I actually got Twitter because of, but obviously I started out with that and then it started becoming, I understand this and that. And of course, I started becoming mature. Finally, this was the time in 2017 when I started actually getting mature, but it was still, it was actually a lot of years. And you got to understand that maturity and that I'm still not matured 100%. Technically, the maximum maturity is 21. Basically, you're supposed to be matured, but I've seen people that are 21 and they still act very mean and, they don't know how to discipline. I'm not sure. I'm not a scientist or something like that, but it's just a thing that I've seen around when I was a thing called Bridges. For some reason, we have to keep that secret for some reason. A lot of this stuff is secret, but it's because of only a lot of things that keep things to be private and not get overhand. So that's why, but obviously I understand that I should say policies and stuff, and I talk about other stuff. What about rockets? Well, actually, rockets were actually very early. It wasn't, I should say, my first ever, I should say, rocket game was actually called Simple Rockets. And obviously, it was very hard to play because I didn't know how to orbit dispersion and stuff. And now I do because, I don't know, it was just, me playing for years. And I started, and of course, you got Scott Manley and then Never the Astronaut. And then you got, all of these YouTubers that really got me in shape. What really got me in shape was Scott Manley. So give credit to him that actually I started understanding what this is. So yeah, you got two of these hobbies that are like in a zone. You got a tech tree or something. First I was born, and then you got this, games and that, and then you got hobbies, and then of course, actually there is a small hobby that was actually a hobby. Model trains. I literally there was a auction bids thing that was going on, and we were actually there. And I got some trains that I have no idea when I'm going to use them, but they were N-scale trains, model trains. I still have some liquid resin down there and, of course, model train stuff. And it's, very easy to maneuver, but I don't know why I have some trees and all that stuff. And you're thinking about resin using for building stuff and, in Astroneer. Oh, those old days. I remember you used that and it just build it and just keep on expanding for no reason. Doot, 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 doot. It was just, it was interesting. And, Astroneer is fun, but for some reason people don't like it still. I remember I got on a server, so that's a breakthrough. I have these achievements that I do, but a lot of them have been achieved. A lot of them are kind of, personal, which, obviously just keep everybody happy and safe and not being okay. So that's not all. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Remember, this is 19 years in development. So basically, it's been going on since 19 years since I was born. Obviously, I was around when the 9/11 thing happened. So yeah, that's the only possible way that this would have, actually, a lot of stuff has happened. It was a lot of times, obviously. So obviously, I'll probably talk about the lifestyle of my dad, but because dad, is my dad, I don't want to make negative activities around my dad because he's my dad. And yeah, so obviously it's still going on. This is just a quick update about that. And obviously it was really cool about how that happened. So yeah, um, I miss those. So yeah, for me to move stream mobily, you have to give me 1K subscribers. Yeah, obviously I usually don't say subscribe or like, but hey, I know it sometimes gets annoying when people do that because when you're actually subscribed and they say subscribe, I'm like, I'm already subscribed. So yeah, that's just something, whatever. It's just, hey, you gotta do something. And obviously, I probably, you know, yeah, it's been a while. And you probably have finding out what I was. And usually when people actually have that, it actually teaches them and, gives them a way of what I was like, in the past. So I was so happy to, tell about all these tales, you know, they're tales. Okay, I get it. So yeah, a lot of stuff into the internet stuff that I learned was a long journey of electronics. Is there anything else? However, PlayStation. I don't know what PlayStation was. It wasn't that one, but I knew it probably PlayStation 3, 2, 4. I have no idea, but I remember I remember I did see it, but then it just disappeared. So I don't know what happened to that. And I remember I did play some games on there. The reason why I want to find it is because I wonder if I could play Half-Life DK because Half-Life DK you can get it on the computer version, but it doesn't work well. So I'd rather have it on the PlayStation. If you don't know what Half-Life DK is, it's something you have two players with. But obviously, if I actually encourage my mom to play the first person shooter, she probably. I remember I tried teaching her how to play Portal, the original Portal, and she just she used the mouse, but she never used the mouse. She didn't use the mouse for generating portals, but she her head was focused most of the time. And when I told her just to move your head to get it, it was kind of frustrating. Obviously, she's used to other not first person shooter games. It's kind of hilarious to see, it's just weird. You're not experienced. She has played Mario before, so yeah. If she probably remembered playing Mario, she probably would be fine with playing something like Mario or something like that. But anything else like first person shooter, remember, she's from 1962. Those games didn't exist at that time, but when she was growing up, she wasn't interested in these games and stuff. And when these new millennium people like me in 2001, the games were already out with a lot of cool technology. And obviously, my dad was very good at gaming. Well, I don't know if he's good or not, but he was a professional because he had Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1. I wonder if he actually is still playing Battlefield 1 because I would love. I tried asking him to give me clips of him playing, but he never reported me back. So I guess he doesn't want to do that because I really want some content because he does play Battlefield 1. If he doesn't want me to play Battlefield, he does want me, he can let me play Battlefield 1, but he just won't tell me how to get internet access. It's probably somewhere on a YouTube video of me getting it, but I have no idea. And obviously, since my dad took the Xbox One, so yeah, that's all gone, and silly salamander. Well, that's just it. I'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye. Bye.